First at 9.
A very good evening and welcome to your Primetime News Bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus.
As the US Congress gears up to vote on a proposed military strike on Syria, US Secretary of State John Kerry is hard at work abroad, canvassing international support for military action.
However, speaking with UK Foreign Secretary William Hague at a joint conference in London, Kerry said that there is no military solution to the Syrian crisis.
The News First International desk has been closely following the developments in Syria and across the globe and will have a comprehensive report later on in the news.
First, a look at the headlines.
Headlines on News First at 9.
Postal voting for provincial council polls begin. Navi Pillai stresses concern over protecting persons she met with in Sri Lanka from reprisals. Another young Sri Lankan domestic aide returns to the island after being harassed in the Middle East. JHU speaks out on PSC appointed to resolve national problem.
ජාතික හෙළ උරුමය ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තු තීරීම්කාරක සභාවේ සැසිවාර වලට මින් ඉදිරියට සහභාගී වෙන්නේ නැහැ.
News First at 9. This is News First, Election Headquarters.
Postal voting in view of the North, North-Western and North Central Provincial Council elections commenced today.
According to Deputy Elections Commissioner M.M. Mohammed, postal voting will also be held tomorrow at relevant state institutions.
$111,383 government servants were eligible to cast postal votes in view of the upcoming provincial council elections to be held on the 21st of September. Representatives of political parties and independent groups have been given permission to observe the postal voting process, while local and international election monitors have also been deployed at postal voting centres. Incidentally, postal voting at the Mathale and Dambula depots were carried out under the supervision of an assistant elections commissioner. Those who are unable to cast their votes today and tomorrow can do so on the 12th, 13th and 14th of this month.
As the elections draw closer, incidents of election-related violence are on the rise.
A number of violent incidents reported from various locations highlight this fact.
An unidentified group fired upon the residence of a supporter of UPFA candidate for the Central Provincial Council, Thilina Bandara Tennakoon, at dawn today. The house is located in Lewalla, Kandy. The police said that although several shots were fired at the house, none of the inhabitants were injured.
Were shot in the air and fired twice at the house. I support Thilina Tennakoon. It is people within our own party that have done this, not people from the opposition.
Meanwhile, an unidentified group had attacked a JVP party office in Mandurankulia last night. JVP election candidates have lodged a complaint with the Mundaluma police over the incident. This shows that acts of violence are taking place in our district and that thuggery is being used to prevent our victory and our campaigning. Meanwhile, an unidentified group had vandalized two campaign hoardings of the leader of the National Workers' Union, Parliamentarian P. Digambaram. Our reporter says the hoardings had been vandalized last night. The police say they have made 99 arrests in connection with election law violations. The police have received 113 complaints thus far relating to incidents of election law violations.
The political stage is heating up ahead of the 21st September Provincial Council polls.
Let's take a look at some of the views expressed by politicians.
Today, many individuals have found money through various means. They are spending money amounting to millions on election propaganda activities. These funds have not been declared. How have they earned so much of money? Is it by selling drugs or by theft? People are suspicious about the manner in which how these individuals have accumulated so much of money. Whoever attacks us, the people know that we wouldn't retaliate. The people in the district are aware about ministers, politicians and organizers who truly love them and who genuinely work for the people. If people arrive at our residence during a meal, we provide them with food. Individuals sling mud at us for doing so. Some of them are from the party that I represent. I am not ready to respond to the mudslinging campaigns launched by individuals. Some are attempting to make Dayasri Jayasekara secure the second place in Kurunegala. If you look at the debates which were organized, it is evident that they undermined Dayasri Jayasekara and highlighted the work of others. We have to admit that there are many individuals within our party who have obtained bribes and engaged in corruption. We have to rectify this problem during the upcoming elections. Today, only a small fraction of the population will be deceived by thuggery or free food. While in opposition and government benches, they pushed their personal agendas forward. Even today, opposition politicians are in close contact with government members in order to carry out their work. Though the people do not receive any benefit or their welfare uplifted, individuals in the government and opposition do not consider them as their priorities.
Up next is a newspaper cartoon of the day.
The Jatika Hela Urumiya says that it will not participate in future sessions of the Parliamentary Select Committee appointed to find a solution to the national problem.
Now, speaking at a media briefing convened in Colombo today, JHU General Secretary Minister Pathali Champika Ranawaka expressed these views.
In truth, we believe that if the provincial council system could not be abolished prior to the provincial council elections, then at the very least, 3 poisonous policies in it should be removed. Then there is the problem with regard to police and land powers. We reiterated that these 5 factors should be changed for us immediately. The cabinet brought forward 2 of these as emergency bills. Party leaders and the cabinet agreed to bringing forth these 2 emergency bills in order to resolve the matter quickly in the Select Committee. But we have participated in numerous sessions of the Select Committee and we can see that there will be no change prior to this election. As such, the Jatika Hela Urumiya will not participate in future sessions of the Parliament Select Committee. This battle will be tough in the future when it comes to removing powers. We felt that the Select Committee should submit an interim report prior to this. It is the 9th of September today, and if the Select Committee cannot submit an interim report by today, then there will be no room to bring forth the constitutional amendment prior to the 21st. Parliament will reconvene again in October. Thereby it is clear to us that the Select Committee is simply wasting time. There will be no amendment prior to the 21st of September. This is a sin that is being committed against the nation.
In her opening statement at the 24th session of the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Navi Pillay, expressed concern over the protection of people she met with during a visit to Sri Lanka.
Grateful to the government of Sri Lanka for facilitating my recent comprehensive visit, which allowed me to assess the progress being made towards reconstruction, reconciliation and accountability in the aftermath of the war, as well as the broader human rights situation, including religious intolerance, governance and the rule of law. I will be reporting on my observations later in the session, but wish to stress my immediate concern for the protection of human rights defenders, journalists and communities I met during my visit from any reprisal, intimidation or attack.
In the meantime, Sri Lanka's ambassador to the UN in Geneva, Ravinatha Aryasinghe, has said that Sri Lanka looks forward towards an objective and unbiased approach to Sri Lanka by High Commissioner Navinithan Pillay in fulfillment of her mandate following her recent visit to the island.
According to a statement issued by the Sri Lankan Permanent Mission at the UN in Geneva, responding to the High Commissioner immediate concern for the protection of human rights defenders, journalists and communities, Aryasinghe said that Sri Lanka has a vibrant civil society, a fact that was amply demonstrated through the wide range of meetings and events that were arranged independently by the UN team in Colombo.
Now, speaking at the opening session of the 24th UN Human Rights Council in Geneva today, Aryasinghe said that the government of Sri Lanka is fully committed to protecting human rights defenders.
Another young woman who went abroad to the Middle East to work as a domestic aide has returned home after being harassed at her workplace.
This young woman alleges that she was sent abroad in violation of the prevailing laws of the country.
This young woman, a resident of Saliyapura in Anuradhapura, decided to travel abroad to work in order to support her family. Since she had sold her house to pay for the medical bills of her mother, who eventually succumbed to a long-standing illness, this woman now resides at a rented house. With the intention of raising enough money to build a new home, this woman departed for Saudi Arabia on the 14th of this month.
I wanted to go abroad and make some money to build a house here. We are living in a rented house. I have to look into my brother's future as well.
She says that while she was assigned to work at a residence in Saudi Arabia, the individual who brought her there had returned several days later and assaulted her. She says that she was subsequently assigned to a different workplace and was assaulted there by another individual. She says that she was later taken to another location.
There were 24 Sri Lankan women there together with me. They assaulted all of them. 3 of them were pregnant, but they assaulted them as well, stomping on their stomachs. One woman's fingers are paralyzed and another's legs are paralyzed.
According to this woman's birth certificate, her name is Vatsala Sevandi and was born on the 1st of April 1995. However, in order to travel abroad to work, she had provided a false name and a falsified birth date for her passport. She says that the documents were prepared for her by the Foreign Employment Services Bureau.
When I went to the bureau, they found out that the documents were fake, so they sent me back. After that, the agency asked me to come again the next day after a sum of 25,000 rupees was agreed for it to be done. They assigned me to another person this time and got the documents approved.
She returned to the island on the 6th of this month. The employment agent here and the agent there will have to be questioned according to the trouble that has been caused here. The local employment agent and the agent abroad will have to be accountable for the serious problems she faced. The Foreign Employment Services Bureau will take the necessary legal action. Numerous occasions where Sri Lankans who travel abroad for work are abused or harassed. The bodies of 4 individuals who passed away while serving as domestic aides returned to the island in the recent past. Most recent incident reported today. A young woman from Saliyapura, Anuradhapura returns to the island from the Middle East after being subject to harassment. To whom it may concern.